Okay, y'all. So, don't mind how I look, but I made a video yesterday speaking a little bit on the details of Nolan Wells, and I've got more to say because I learned more, and it's even more telling. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and start protecting myself because I think I'm starting to notice things that people haven't yet came out and said, or maybe they have and I just haven't come across those videos yet. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say allegedly. Everything in this video and all my videos is alleged. So here we go. Yesterday, I spoke about how it's the behavior of the friends is very odd, and the way they're talking and the way they're emotionless and not concerned with finding out what happened to him, whatever. But I heard more of the audio between the boy who was driving the boat back, that Nolan, or maybe he wasn't driving, the boy that was on the boat coming back from Horn Island supposedly without Nolan, right? And I just want to make this very clear how odd it would be for Nolan to just get left behind and they don't know what happened to him, right? And at the same time, there's an issue with their boat, so much so that they call for a tow, but then don't want the tow. What are the odds of that? That just sounds very crazy. I mean, I don't know how many boats usually need a tow on the 4th of July. Maybe a lot. Maybe it's very common. But I've been out on boats before. And I've only had one time where there was a boat issue. And it was resolved quickly. It was resolved quickly without a tow, without anybody coming to help, yada yada. To call the tow company. But listen, this is where it gets really telling for me. And this is why I'm still in my robe. I look crazy. But before I start my day, I gotta put this out there because I want other YouTubers who are great at what they're doing to hear this, to notice this, because I'm watching the videos, I'm seeing them going through the audios, and I'm not hearing them notice this part, which is to me, one of the biggest, craziest pieces of evidence that I've seen, allegedly, that something was being conspired or fabricated in this call. Now, everybody's pointing out, we hear things in the background. I think I hear someone say, no, get the up. I've heard people say they think they're hearing chest compressions and counting in the background. Now, I don't know. I do know that if you were calling for a tow, why aren't you giving your undivided attention throughout the entire call to the person you just called for assistance? It's just kind of crazy to me but this is where it gets really crazy. So in the call, the woman transfers to the Captain Seth, okay? And she's telling him we have this boat and there's kids on it and they're kind of panicking, and I mean, I wouldn't say they were panicking about the boat necessarily having an issue, because why wouldn't you be giving her your attention. She's having to ask you several times the same question, and you're like, what? And you sound annoyed. But when she transfers it over to Captain Seth, I think Captain Seth made a big oopsie here. I think he made a big oopsie, allegedly, because he pretends like he doesn't know what's going on, right? Until he says, what kind of boat is it? And she says a Triton 24 foot, but she meant 22. And he nonchalantly is like, okay, yeah, I just got off the phone with their grandpa. Can we pause there? Can we have a long pause? You mean to tell me the grandpa of the guy she's on the phone with already spoke with you directly to tell you, no, they don't need assistance, they'll be all right? So Grandpa Jerry and Captain Seth, ring, 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 hey buddy. But listen, Captain Seth sounds like he doesn't really know what's going on. But wait, you just got off the phone with Grandpa Jerry. But you don't know that it's his boat? You're telling me Jerry called you with such a vague call that he didn't even tell you it was his boat? He didn't tell you what was going on with the boat. He just told you somebody's gonna be calling and about a boat. I don't know whose boat it is. I don't know what the problem is, but they're panicking. But don't go help them because they're gonna be all right. Yeah, I don't think so, Captain Seth. I'm not buying any of that. I'm not buying that Jerry can call you so quickly and tell you not to help the boat that's calling for help. Now, to me, that sounds like this allegedly. This to me sounds like something happened on that boat. Not that they were sinking, I don't think. But they called Grandpa first because Grandpa knew about it before the tow company knew. Yet Grandpa somehow knew that he didn't want the captain to come out there, even though Wyatt was calling for them to come out there, right? We're gonna need you guys to come, get this water out of our boat and tow us back. But just kidding, we don't. And Grandpa's already on it with Captain Seth. Nah, I don't know about that. I think maybe Grandpa Jerry and Captain Seth are buddies or something. Because it seems like from the way Captain Seth carried the conversation, for someone who literally just got off the phone with Jerry, you don't know if it's his boat. You don't know what's going on the boat. All you know is, yeah, Jerry has a membership, but I don't know if it's his boat he's calling me about. I don't mean to laugh because it's really sick. But on the positive side, it seems like there's a a lot of people with a lot of connections. Ring, ring, ring. Captain. Hey, Captain. A lot of connections. And, the corrupt system in Mississippi needs to crumble. So if there's any silver lining in this wonderfully bright young man's untimely passing, it's the fact that we're seeing, no matter how much they try to cover this up, we're seeing right through the lies. People need to be in prison for trying to cover this up. Yeah. When I heard that audio and I heard the captain say, oh yeah. Like, how are you not gonna know what she's talking about until after they tells you what kind of boat it is, and then still you kind of pause. You're not like, oh yeah, that's the call I just got. I just got that call. Yes, okay, yeah, I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting because he said they would be good. You're still on the phone with him? Oh, well, does he need help? Well, maybe Jerry doesn't know because Jerry's not actually on the boat. Yeah. So, and he paused. He paused after she told him what kind of boat it was. And then said casually, yeah, I just got off the phone with Grandpa. How? If there's an emergency, on the boat where it's sinking, if you call Grandpa first, and Grandpa's like, well, you better call the tow. I got a membership. Call the company. I think when you get on the phone with the tow company, you're gonna be like, this is my grandpa's boat. He just told me to call you guys. I don't know. Maybe he's so used to being out on his grandpa's boat that he's called them before, but he didn't seem like it. He didn't know the membership number. He just said, look up this name. Yeah. I don't know, guys. Tell me what you think. And I'm hoping that this information, either these other YouTubers who actually have a platform noticed this, what I noticed. Maybe what I'm thinking I'm noticing isn't really anything. You know, it's all alleged. But to me, if I'm in a bind and I call my grandpa, he tells me to call the tow company because they spoke with the grandpa. Because remember, the grandpa called the captain and said, hey, they're panicking, but don't help them. But I'm not gonna tell you it's my boat, and I'm not gonna tell you why they're panicking. I mean, I've been praying for some solid evidence, and to me, that's it. Really. Like, we have audio of the captain saying he was already on the phone with the Grandpa Jerry. And Grandpa Jerry said, don't help? On top of the fact that, what are the odds that the same boat that Nolan Wells went out on, they're saying he didn't come back on, has such an issue that they call for a tow, and Grandpa calls the captain, Seth, at the same time or before? to do damage control. And they end up not needing the tow. And the Captain Seth has every reason why he can't go help them. Yeah. Maybe Grandpa Jerry told you why they were panicking. Because it sounds like your conversation with the woman at the tow company, you were very reluctant to bring up that call until you absolutely had to. And then you want to say, I don't know if it's his boat and we can't really tend to people that don't have a membership. But by the way, he said not to go out there, they'll be okay. And he also didn't say what the issue was. How are you not knowing what's going on the boat, but you know they don't need help? I'm still waking up, so I just had to get on here and put that out there. And I'm hoping like this information is received. I'm praying this information be received by the right people, and the wrong people don't see this video, okay? Because you all know the wrong people are out here studying to working overtime to the devil doesn't sleep, but Jesus is the highest power. So in his name, I ask that justice be served for Nolan Wells quickly, because or you know what, maybe it shouldn't be quickly, because every single day we see more and more collusions. We see more people who need to be in jail off this single case. So thank you, God, for a silver lining in such a horrific event. Thank you guys for watching, and leave some comments and tell me what you're thinking, because clearly it takes a lot of people to notice all the little details, all the little the chances of that happening are so no. Oh yeah, the same boat Nolan came out on had such an issue that we needed a tow, but we didn't need a tow. And our boat was sinking. We knew there was an issue with the boat. That's why Nolan didn't get on, right? Or what was it? Why didn't he come back? For a girl? Yeah, freaking right. No, I don't think so, okay? Yeah, maybe he'll want to talk to a girl, but he's not going to stay on an island for a girl. This isn't someone who is not intelligent. This isn't someone who doesn't have anything exciting going for them, so they need something exciting. He was a wide receiver in college. Okay? He's in college and he's on the team, okay? And he's got a decent position on the team, and he's about to start the training for it. You think he really gonna care about a girl? Maybe if he was living in the ghetto and he didn't have his head on right, and he didn't have good parents to teach him anything, maybe he'd leave his phone on a boat with his keys and his wallet, and he wouldn't know how to get home, and or maybe he was just so belligerent that he went to go use the bathroom and got sucked into the water, and nobody witnessed it and nobody heard him yelling for help. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. No. But allegedly. So I don't want this video to be this long. But when I heard the conversation, the audio with Captain Seth, that was it for me. I was like, there's no stinking way. Their boat's sinking and their grandpa calls the captain, doesn't say it's his boat, doesn't say it's sinking, just says don't help them. Hi, got a bunch of kids panicking on a boat, so when you get a call, don't go for it, but it's a Triton 22-footer. No. Grandpa Jerry, Captain Seth, you got some splainings to do. I really want to hear the conversation between Grandpa Jerry and Captain Seth. I really want to know how Grandpa Jerry contacted Captain Seth before the woman who works for the company. I really want to know what the conversation was between grandson and grandpa. Just the chances of the boat sinking, the same boat Nolan Wells went out on happens to start sinking, yet the conversation between the boy on the boat, Wyatt, right? And can I say names? Because I'm going to say allegedly. Y'all ain't coming for me. Okay, and oh. And didn't homie from Mississippi just come out and say, crying about, oh, we're getting death threats, we're getting threats. Anybody who's threatening, you're liable for charges against you. What? Can you say you're also part of this? How many people want to come forward and just show that they're bought out or that they are a part of corruption? Like, come on, bring them all out. You don't come forward in a case and say, I'm scared because I'm getting threats. Because you're not doing your job and people notice, because you're on the wrong side of the law, because you guys are clearly covering this up and everybody sees it. And since it's 2026, people forget. People forget that this is America. Sometimes there becomes a revolution because of the tyranny, because of the corruption, which has made this country able to stand up against it and not be like some other countries. Anybody who's supposed to be in charge of protecting and serving, yet doing the opposite, protecting evil and serving evil instead of good. I mean, you reap what you sow, right? You gonna blame other people for their reactions? No, what's real is you guys are trying to scare people into shutting up. But God, I'm praying to God that the truth be so loud that they can't scare people into being quiet about it. Like, no matter how nonchalant you try to act, no matter how much you rehearse, the truth comes out. The truth shines through. It may not be right away, but it will come. We're seeing it in real time, and it sucks that it had to take such a wonderful man passing to bring people their true colors, their evil works to the forefront to be dealt with. But I see it. I see it. I see it with my own 2 eyes and ears. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a great day.